Dragon Man. Maybe he was just a dragon. But he was still Trogdor! Trogdor! Burninating the countryside, burninating the peasants, burninating all the people in the thatched roof cottages! Thatched roof cottages! And the Trogdor comes in the night! Whoa, what am I doing in this tiny box? Let me out, tiny box! Oops, hope you got the extended warranty.
Hello, Jerry, my dear friend. I've come to talk with you again. All things minis. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm having a joyous time. Any night that starts with Trogdor is always a winner.
I think, Tuffy, you don't know Trogdor. I'm disappointed.
It's because, let me think. This has been a while, but Kaiser wanted Trogdor to draw, or wanted Strongbag to draw a dragon. So I said, I want to see your skills as an artist. It was from one of the Strongbad emails. Strongbad emails were amazing.
Yeah, and he tried to show how it goes, and then draw an S, draw another S, add an arm.
Then, using consummate V's, add in scales, angry eyebrows, spinities.
It was a simple time.
It really was a simple time, yes.
And they weren't afraid of doing stupid thing long before YouTube and anybody else.
Very true. That's all gone now. Gone with the YouTubes.
Yes. So, you have been picking a lot of projects again for us this time. And
I have.
Starting with a not-so-usual, unusual.
She's a beast,
as
they say. This is Oriskany's ongoing thread. I don't know what it was originally titled. It started off in February, where I was doing a live stream of a specific game. So I think it's actually listed as something like Team Yankee or something weird like that.
It's a historical, and he starts with Return of Oriskany's Web of Wargames.
So he has been doing some live streams recently for the 75th anniversary of Krakova, which is outside Kursk. But there's a lot more on this if you haven't been to SetRep or been to this project before. I suppose I should put the link in because I forgot to.
Oh, people will find him.
They won't, you know. They're very lazy. Everything has to be handed to them on a plate these days. Lousy kids. It's their music, television, and their drugs. Anyway, there are some World War III things kicking around in here, some sort of Team Yankee things, but the majority are historic battles, which are either fought out in a strategic map or using some sort of online variant. And then he does after-action reports, and so you get the precursor, the actual games themselves. You can watch the video reports, and then you get the after-action. So it's a nice thing to check out if you're into your historics, or if you're not and you're just curious. So I see a few people cropping up recently, just starting to dip their toe into historics and asking all sorts of weird questions.
To be honest, generally historic would be an interesting topic for myself, but the amount of detail he's showing in some of these is quite frankly scaring me.
Yeah, well, you know, he's keen, plucky for the fray. That's what they tell me.
Well, it always looks like there is so many tables to consult, so many dice to throw, and yeah, and not a lot of minis, but markers and tokens.
It's a different style of game. He's a big fan of the grand tactical, so not 30 men for a bolt action game, but 30,000 men on a front. So it's a very different style of war game than you see. I mean, a lot of the stuff on the website tends to be miniature based, but these hex and counter games are a lot of fun. There's a lot of great companies out there doing them still.
I think it's simply the sheer scale that just makes me want to not go that way, because so much can go wrong.
There's a friend of mine. He has a YouTube channel called the GM's Alcove. So Curtis / Fritz, depending on how people know. And he's been playing a lot of hex counter games. And it's really fun because he'll set up something like SPQR. And then he's there with camera set up and a pair of tweezers, because sometimes you've got counters stacked on counters for different units. And so rather than try and go in there and not be able to pick them up or push them around and all that, and it's just really pleasant to watch somebody reach down and just tweezer up a set of tokens and move them into another one, while he's just very calmly describing what's happening here and why this is all going wrong and why the left flank is crumbling and really why these auxiliaries should have stayed back home in whatever part of Germania they were harvested from. And
The plucking with the tweezer somehow reminds me of Dr. Bibber. You remember that game?
Yes. With the
patient and the electric contacts that go bzzz every time you touch things. I have a Star Wars version of that.
Star Wars.
Yes, you deconstruct a C-3PO and you pull small Jabba the Hutt out of his leg and stuff like that. And every time you hit him, you get R2-D2 noises.
Nice.
Speaking of R2-D2, I have a new roommate. Hold on. Can you see him? He's a bit small. Isn't he lovely?
Oh, he's delightful.
Yes, and he comes with...
Is he one of those ones that drive about and beep and make noises and do things?
Yes. He's one of these dreadfully...
More for that. Oh, hello, Jim. Jim's joined us.
Oh, yes. Well, if I were a spontaneous type, I would say just jump on and explain your project, but since we have already started, next time. So I will just continue clicking all the like buttons, as he has instructed in his text.
That is true.
Don't read anything, just hit the buttons.
Yeah. So, if people have jumped in following that link, that's the first page, starting in February, to get the stuff that was done for Curse Game. You've got to get to page 3, so there's a ton of stuff, and it's, like I say, it's not just World War II. There's American War of Independence in there, Team Yankees in there, so it sort of runs the gamut. Gaz is like that. Don't worry, later on, Gaz will be talking about you as well.
Yeah, don't mention it, Jim. Clicks are free, basically. And just to have something really positively to say, every time I look at somebody who's writing battle reports of historical Second World War things, I'm actively looking for misspelled German unit names or things like that. I haven't found one yet. That's not to say I won't find some, but I haven't found one yet. So that's a very gut gemacht.
It's the way to do it. It is the way to do it.
Nobody cares how you pronounce them, since there are tokens on the table and everybody can read for their own.
See, you missed a trick there, Gaz. What you should have said is, what's that thing on your t-shirt? Because it's the thing from the Fantastic Four. Hey! Anyway.
So you're rock hard. Wow.
Pre-epic.
Yes, I'm bad. I'm going to get worse. I think I lost some sanity points last night when creating
Oh, Jesus.
the character stats for my Cthulhu character.
You can't think of that as Cthulhu, because Cthulhu would have been finished like 45 minutes earlier. It's just the 10 additional tables that they add on after the basic Cthulhu generation.
Yeah, but the problem is, I think when we will start playing next Monday, we will have not one situation where any of my higher skills will be available.
That's the whole point of Cthulhu. That's the point. Like, can you swim, for example?
I think I can barely swim.
Yeah. So that'll be it. The first thing that'll happen is we'll be being transported somewhere. Our ship will sink, and we'll lose all our equipment because nobody can fucking swim, and nobody put any points into it. It's like there's 4 of us in there. 1 in 4 of us will survive.
I did put points in it. Just not that many. Hold on. Because any Legion fans, Star Wars Legion fans in the audience, Star Wars fans, maybe.
First to Zero San is always the winner. Thing. I'm very annoyed because I got 20 bonus points to my spot hidden, which means for the first time ever, I've got somebody with the spot hidden. It's not generally how I play the game.
I think I have spot hidden too. So, as some of you know, my friendly local game store is closing shop, and he was cleaning his backlot a bit, and he found that he had sometime last year ordered a tournament kit, and he hadn't held a tournament kit. So now I've got some Star Wars Legion tournament cards. Those usual go as prize.
Yeah, prizes to the...
And even older, a 2018 X-Wing tournament card.
Get up on Fleabay.
Hell I won't. Those will be mine to keep. And to put... And some acrylic tokens. That's just...
They're nice.
And we had a little laugh as an insider, because we always played with my miniatures, because he only had painted one of his rebel troops and always promised, yes, I will paint mine. And with these tournament kits, there is some sub prizes for best painted special troops, core troops, and commanders. Mm-hmm. And he just handed me them, saying, "Yours were painted, mine not. You win."
Didn't award himself any then, no?
Oh, I think he has some, but maybe more from the cards than some tokens. But this was nice. Pays off to have a friend in your friendly local game store, not just see it as a means to get your hobby produce.
Well, if we're going to do show and tell, I've got that. Which is Undaunted North Africa from Osprey.
And I was just thinking it was Lawrence of Arabia.
Similar but different, but similar. It's a weird little small action, I suppose, because you've got just individual squad members running about the desert doing missions. So I'll be curious to see how it plays out. It's not quite a hex counter game, but it is a little random tile type of thing. But that's all. I mean, that's one set of allies.
So will we see
just
a
8?
So will we say a let's play of that?
Who knows?
Or maybe an unboxing?
Oh, there'll definitely be an unboxing. I'm trying to read through the rules before I unbox it, because otherwise I'm just going, there's 2 books and some card in it, and I hate doing that. So I always try and get a grasp of what it actually is beforehand.
As long as you don't do unboxing like Dice Tower does, I always get shivers when they throw all the stuff on the table.
And just upside down, upend it?
Yeah, it always gives me nightmares.
I'm curious. I suppose it's just a long-range desert group team meeting some battalions out in the middle of nowhere, and they've got a mission to do. So, yeah. I'll be curious to see how it plays out. It's a mixture of card and dice, where miniatures aren't removed until you've got no more support cards of the same type to play, or I don't know. Like I said, just starting to get into it.
Sounds interesting. Has anybody seen Robert?
Yes, well,
So he is he here? Is he not?
no, he's not. No, yeah.
Oh.
I don't know what he does these days. He doesn't come in and call everybody cunts anymore.
Well,
it's
then,
like he doesn't love us anymore, right?
Well, then this may just be for everybody else. Listen up, people.
Oh dear, I seem to have spotted a cunt. Good day.
Well, that's not right.
Well,
It is cold enough to. You have to. Yeah. Sorry, I'm hammering my way through as much licorice as I possibly can. I need to stop
why do you need to stop?
because I just eat them constantly until my tongue goes numb.
It beats drinking until your tongue goes numb.
I don't know about that now.
So, shall we move on? Oh, wait, before we move on. Last week you set the flea in my ear with Snotling Blood Bowl team, and I couldn't find them. I only found those dreaded Gnoblars.
Yes.
So, were there... Do you know when this next Snotling team will be released?
No.
Oh, bugger.
GW previewed it in April, but they previewed it before they shut their factories down because of coronavirus. So assuming if the world hadn't stopped, we would have already seen them. So I think they've got to spin the wheels up again and then try and catch up on the backlog of 3 months of no production.
Well,
Almost.
if they are heading
It will
shelves,
be this year.
what are the chances that Warren will get them in his shop?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
because it's a new release. We get them all.
So, for anybody who didn't know, store.ontabletop.com. Go and shop, spend all your monies, make sure that Jerry stays paid.
That is true.
Or
Man cannot live on samples of miniatures from companies alone. My butcher won't take anymore.
he
He
has
tell me not to leave them on the counter.
he has enough lead now in his backyard. So, next project then will be Maladrug incorporates contrast paints. I think we have seen some of this before.
Yeah, there's only a couple of little updates. I've seen it a while ago where... Sorry,
Oh, I behold.
maybe that's the other side. Yeah, it started doing some stuff, just testing to see how they work. He's done a bit more. I think the initial one we seen was a troll. It was done in sort of a green and purple.
I love these little
The little baby
micro
bumpers.
heads. Oh, and he's a cheeky
Gears.
bugger. He has circumvented the flawed WordPress implementation for the project system by just linking to his pictures on his blog.
Oh, genius.
Well, it's a lot of work, so I won't be doing it. I know how that works. I know it's a lot of work.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, I think these look nice.
I think they show what you can do with contrasts. You can get very quick, bright poppy things onto the table in short notice. A couple of the next pieces, so there's an Essen coming up, where obviously there's been a bit more work done with it, and then there's I think some sort of elf sorceress. I can't remember if we've seen her first time around.
We have been to the Norok.
So in those ones you can see there's sort of his initial tests with them, and he's not a fan of the super glossiness of it all. But that just needs to be hammered with a matte spray when you're finished.
Which should be done anyway, just to protect all things painted. Especially if you're using those on a Dungeons and Dragons scenario where they get pushed around all the time.
Yeah, I'm interested where the barbarians come from, because it's a very nice classical looking barbarian.
Is he not telling? Let's see.
I haven't noticed. It just seems to be floating around there.
No.
I
Some mention.
No, I think it's just there as a. It's called a Defender of the Old Faith, according to that picture, but I think it's solely there, like the Banana Man, as a scale. You now know how big these are based on this barbarian.
We still need the Banana Mans.
How big a barbarian is.
I'm guessing it's some replacement part for Hero Quest.
Could be.
Speaking of, I've got the dice.
Cool. I found my dice box the other day. They're not in it, which means they're still somewhere in the roof loft with the remnants of my box. God only knows where the fuck they're hiding. And he's not telling me. So
He's a sad little bugger. So let's get this new entry some lovin'.
Like Mac loving.
And then we jump on to what is next? Hobby Exploits by Shingen. That's a name that's popping up more often in regards to golden buttons.
It's probably because he's a talented bugger.
Somehow I've got the feeling those are accumulating on tabletop. Why? I can't tell. All dirty show-offs. Show-offs.
Don't worry, I'm going to find some random people who've done like one entry and go, these are the only things you can pick from this week. Bam.
I think that would be a perfect fit for the next Snaganormy Day. We only select projects for the Hobby Hangout with only one entry per user. That should limit the overall...
it would be different, certainly.
It could be surprise. Yeah, he has done some Corvus Belly Infinity.
Yeah, I mean, the first one seems to be from some of that terrible 3D printing nonsense that the kids are all keen on these days. But then after that, he starts using real miniatures. So well done him.
To be honest, he has done such a good job of painting. I wouldn't have noticed that it's a 3D printed miniature. Either that, or he has gone out of his way removing any evidence of 3D printing, like stepping.
If he's using a resin printer, he won't get stepping. I mean, companies use 3D printers to make the masters in a lot of cases. So it's...
Those are usually quite a bit more expensive and have a very much higher resolution.
I think it's getting to the point where the resin printer resolution is sufficient for most of what we're looking at.
And the art of painting plays for him by covering up any imperfections that there may be.
The thing is, it looks like he's wearing... The way Infinity's very keen on doing hexes for armor. It looks like that's what he's got in his arms, but then it's painted like skin color, and that keeps throwing me off. It's like somebody's carved his skin. He's hunting down the person who turned him into a hex map and played a strategy game on him.
He did too much Battletech in his youth. he ingested it in his vein. That's a nice looking car. It's weird, but it's nice looking. I like the color shift on the shields.
Yeah, on the
windows.
glasswork. Yeah, it's nice to see a car. I don't know who makes it. It does have an unusual look, like you say, because it's not quite futuristic.
It's no toy. It could be a MDF kit of sorts. Could it be? He's not telling.
Could be.
He's not telling.
No, well, the front's got an awful lot of weirdness going on.
Because
it's an MDF kit, it's got not.
The roof on the main body is awfully flat. But on the other hand, it could be a 3D print that's just not very well modeled, not very aerodynamically modeled.
Maybe in the future cars move so quickly that you need them to be blocky as hell.
Or
to offer some drag to slow them down.
Or there is so much road blockage that it's completely irrelevant what kind of dynamic value your car has, because you're only driving in slow walking pace.
That's true.
Which is the more realistic scenario, I think.
I'm easy either way.
Oh, this looks like a Predator of sorts. Has a nice ghoulish red color to him.
Oh, I'm trying to remember the name of the aliens. Somebody in the chat will know.
Nox. He tells about knocks. More knocks.
Yeah, but that's not the name of the race. They're like, well, Shavasti are one of the units. They're from the Combined Army. That's what I'm thinking of.
Basis for the rest of the Shas, he writes.
Well, that'll be Shavasti slimmed down to something typable. Yeah, it's part of the inter-universe alien force that are coming out of nowhere, trying to eat the world.
And we have a He-Man suddenly appearing in the middle of all
Nice.
that.
Well, it's very like Keltos. It's got very early Kev style of sculpting, big and blocky and chunky weaponry on them.
It's a Bones.
Reaper Bones.
Bones Force Corset Barbarian, painted with oil paints.
Oh.
And he has his own project, by the looks of it. So he's starting to cross-reference. Oh,
That works. I think that's specifically for painting with oils, because I've been in that project having a look at what he was doing.
Here we have some advanced 3D modeling from Thingiverse. I think this is something for Justin. Gundam. Or was it John? Or both?
I think they're both. I think. But surely you just go around to a local pound shop and buy one of those robot-looking toys.
Oh, those aren't
That would have
cheap.
saved you a lot of time.
Those aren't cheap. That's
That's why you go to the pound shop.
a quite little... Well, we have similar things to pound shops, but the toys they have are so rubbish you don't want them. Not even as trash on your table. It's worse. Every time when Halloween comes around and all the English and American YouTubers start making terrain from cheaply bought skulls and bones, I bite the table. A, Halloween isn't that popular around these parts, and B, the few stores that sell these stuff are way too expensive. They're getting into GW territory for skulls.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So
That's never good.
Last year I was nearly tempted for 6, table tennis sized balls, skulls for 20 euros, and I thought, nope,
Wow.
it's not mine. He's done a lot.
Oh yes.
Does this
been busy.
ever end?
Not really noticed. That's why I threw it in here.
Well, we will not go to the first page because we don't know when he will end. How long has been Destiny around? No, was it Destiny?
Chingen?
No, the game.
Oh, Infinity.
Infinity. Why am I thinking Destiny?
They're about to go to the 4th edition.
So 3 years.
About 5.
Did they really almost make one edition a year? Seems...
No, it's longer than that. N3 is the current, with Code 1's just coming out at the moment as a stepping stone, with a view to being mixable with 4th edition N4 when it comes out. I think I want to say next year.
I understand. I understood.
It's probably 10 or 12 years. It's been fast, but they've been fairly major sort of rewrite, especially from 1st to 2nd.
As I have understood it, the new game is some sort of more entry-level, pulled-down version to get people into the hobby.
That's kind of what they're aiming for. It'll be interesting to see if that works.
Well, it works with GW games, so why shouldn't it work with this?
I'm pretty sure GW put Coke or something into their models.
No,
just to get
no,
people
you're
addicted.
confusing them again with FFG.
Oh right, yeah. No, they just launder the money. Actually, don't never use your own product.
So, what do you have next for us in store? Dinsdale again.
As you say,
Crazy Red Coat.
Dinsdale.
Oh, he has done his lovely standard bearer. These I watched when he is actually posting them, so these pictures aren't new to me, maybe to some of you, and he's put in some really nice detail work into this lovely bugger. Just look at that glorious picture and how much we can embiggen it. And it's still in bloody focus.
I'll never catch on. Too many factions added. But then if you've got your old faction, what more support do you need? I don't mind them adding sub-factions if you've already got a faction that's playable. I mean, Yu Ching don't need any more models.
Are you alright?
So,
you're not saying not needing more models.
I'm saying that if people have a gameable faction, if you keep releasing stuff for that faction, that just means you end up with either some form of rules creep or making large portions of your already existing collection redundant. So I don't mind them going, this is dumb. All of the stats are online. Now we're going to do this. At some point in the future, we may revisit that or do a sub-faction. So, it's one of those. I can play around with it.
I think this lovely lady was when we last have seen him.
Yeah.
I'm
Cersei.
wondering why this bloody button mashing hasn't come through. Well, there he is.
Because you touch yourself at night.
Yeah, but I think everybody does that.
Sometimes. We never
There are two
mentioned
types of people in the world. Those who actually say they masturbate and those who lie.
who lie. We didn't touch on the banner for the Umber.
The one I've just scrolled past because it looked so weird.
So House Umber has a giant breaking its chains or giant in chains in the books. In the TV series, they came up with something stupid, and he's decided that his Umber family will not have the stupid thing, so he's going to go back and give them all a nice, vibrant giant on red.
So that's a giant. I was thinking that would be some kind of Bigfoot creature.
Shaved ape. Could be.
More or less shaved.
I don't know where that picture comes from, because presumably it just references it in the book without a picture. So I don't know if that comes from something else or if that's just his interpretation of a giant breaking his chains on a field of red. But because he's done it on the banner.
Has he? I must have missed that. Did I miss it? Did I scroll past the banner? Because I only saw the picture of...
Maybe I'm freaking out at my old age. Could have sworn he'd started painting it onto the banner.
Maybe he has shown the banner on something else and not yet in the project. Is he?
No,
is he
it's
there?
definitely it's in the yeah. It's the very first thing in the project.
Stream, not screen.
I'm not just freaking out.
There's another post for the banner.
Yeah, that's why. Refresh.
Do I really need to hit F5 now? Well, very
don't have
well.
to. But we've told everybody about the banner now. And if you don't, it makes it look like I'm insane. And we don't need any more evidence to back that up.
I thought it was common knowledge by now. So here he is
nothing provable.
starting with a... Well, it's not just painted, it's scribbled in. So is that already on the miniature?
No, because he was saying that the Umbers don't have that, maybe, or perhaps it is sculpted on the miniature.
It looks like it's sculpted on the miniature.
Answer us.
You're in the chat. We have seen you. Obey.
Wherefore your screaming lunatic giant come from?
Actually sculpted, but very finely. TV series got the sigil wrong. Yeah, that's artistic freedoms. Bollocks.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but that sure makes painting it a bit easier. Though it's still... It looks weird, to say the least. But it's something different. If you were to take that banner and put it into an Age of Sigma army, everybody would know that's a dangerous dude. He has a giant on his banner for whatever reason. Kill him first.
It's the House Umber signal of what their prostitutes are. First you get a giant, then you chain it down. If you can stay on board till climax, you're head of the house.
Succession wars in a different way.
Yeah. That's Crazy is pretty much on the same vein as me there. Calls it mild BDSM vibes.
Crazy. Pro tip. If you're doing glory shots of your miniatures in front of your bed, fucking make your bed.
Don't listen to him. He's just better. Now, if I've been taking glory shots of my miniatures in front of an unmade bed, you'd only be able to see the bed, because the miniature wouldn't be in fucking focus.
Well, then your bed would be in focus, probably.
Yeah, oh yeah, very
so
much. So
that could be something undesirable. And last but not least, the Lloyd
these are
shots.
lovely.
You've got them from Lena?
Mm.
I would say.
They're maze balls.
I think sometime in the next few weeks there's another emergency supply drop from gummy bears from Germany to Ireland. With love. And spiders.
Spiders are the best.
So it didn't catch them again.
We all
Bloody hell.
enjoy the spiders.
So that's that. Happy now, everybody? Yes? No? I don't care. Next. But that one.
Oh my god. What can it be? We're all doomed. Who's flying this thing?
Next up is Bob.
Oh no! Bob. Where's your Silent J? So this is a rather old project coming from December.
But he has revisited it, so I thought I'd
We
throw
have
his head
been
there.
here. That must have been before I started hitting all the buttons to remember where I was. Because I clearly recognize this lovely hex terrain. And I think I remember you saying those are not cheap.
They are not. They're delightful. They're not cheap.
Yeah, too big for Battletech, but man, I love this hex design. It's such a fine line between you have a map with a scale where you can look where you're going, and still it looks like some natural terrain, more or less.
That's it. I mean, because they do sloped hills and they do ridges and ravines, and they also do the mountains, and the mountains looking like proper mountains are just glorious.
So, we have been here with Sabine Rand. When did we... February?
See, I don't have
Yeah, so we left him with when he did Sabine in this glorious colors. And there is a Jerry shot of the sun.
Nice.
The farm boy with bended laser sword. Bended knee.
I need to catch up on you. Where have we gone?
We
Skip to
have
the
gone
end.
down almost 2/3.
All right. Okay. Now we're back in the room.
And then he does... Is this a battle report or simply a overview of what's on his table? I think it's a mixture of both.
Yeah, it could be both.
He hasn't painted his measuring sticks. Shame! Those need to be painted. They scream for paint.
Maybe he has. Maybe he spent a long time painting and layering them in various shades of grey to give them an unprimed plastic look.
That would be actually some project I would be willing to follow and to look at for a long time if somebody can really pull that off. Though, to be honest, the Army Painter Imperial Grey spray primer actually is very close to that plastic grey. Which makes painting grey units like the ATST very hard.
Have I primed it yet? I don't know.
I think you could get away with just assembly. There's not much paint if you don't start going into details. Speaking of going into details, the German manufacturer Revell has been putting out some Star Wars models for the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, really?
Yes, they did. A slightly larger Snowspeeder, a AT-AT that's almost in scale for Legion. And what was it again? Oh, Slave 1.
Ooh.
Which is a rare sight for sore eyes. And also Revell is currently distributing, what were they called? Some Japanese high-end model doohickey.
Who knows? Bandai?
I think it's Bandai, and they have a Masterclass Millennium Falcon for sale. I say for sale. It's 400 euros.
Yeah, that's Bandai. It's Bandai's Black Series stuff. They showed off a couple of years ago.
And those are lovely. I wish I could do them justice by painting and building, but they are so lovely. And I won't pay 400 euros for a single Falcon. Though it's cheaper than the Agostini collectible thingamajig.
Well, yeah. They're just there to get you, though. Look, you too can get the Jarek table for only $1.99, and then 120 issues at $9.99 per week.
Just like Conquest.
Well, handy dandy my backside. They're not on their website yet.
Here is his newest entry. Oh, he's got a tank.
He has a few tanks.
Yes, but this is a
droid
tank.
But he's also reinforced the
the
clones as well.
Bigger clankers.
I'm impressed he managed to get his hand on one of those.
Well,
considering he's in England, not Germany.
I just sent the pictures to my local group for the local store that has all the things in it, and some reactions were quite, let's say, they went a bit overboard. The Death Troopers he has in stock, those just went for 70 euros on eBay for some people. Well, bloody go to your local dealer and ask them first, you stupid
That's what you should do. You should just stick the Star Wars Legion stuff. Go, what else do you want, Penny? Right, okay, the rest of this is going on Freebay for ridiculous markup. That'll harden them.
I was actually contemplating about going to my friend's store, buy all Legion supply he still has around, and sell them on eBay for just this normal retail price, and still would make some money back.
Oh, yeah.
It's just starting bid at the retail price and then let them bid on whatever they want. If people are stupid enough to pay, I won't say no to their money. Yeah. I'm not asking for it, but if people are paying
it... but 2 tanks.
The lucky bugger. Funny thing is, again, Revell had and the pronunciation is had, a model kit, just like the Snowspeeder, that is almost identical in size to this one.
Yeah.
For 10 euros.
Was that one of the snap fit ones they did?
Yes.
Yeah, they were great.
So
the X-Wing was very well scaled for the old 25mm Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Don't know, probably not scaled for Legion, mind you. Too
No,
small.
for Legion he's a bit small. Though the A-Wing fits perfectly.
I've got one still.
They did 2 revisions of the A-Wing, and they are both the same scale and fit very nicely. Oh, and he has got a 3rd tank, this time for his clone troopers. The tankiest of tanks.
I like how he's got his blue unit and his red unit, and then to tie them together he's put both colours on the big saber. Everybody gets to.
Like he has put some thought into it.
It's not the only thing he's put thought into, mind you.
And he even remembered to leave space for the markings.
The arcs, yeah.
So,
I've seen people cover over those, but do things like put rocks at the edges of the base and the 4 points, or turn them into things like tubes or down trees and stuff for indoors.
Long branches.
Yeah.
Though I have seen more than once that people have somehow misaligned the floating pegs, and suddenly their vehicles are showing the wrong direction. Whoopsie.
Oh dear. But he's also broke out some dust walkers.
We just reached that part.
So I think that's... I want to say that was the Thor. Might not be, though. I never really paid enough attention to dust. But they make a lot of sense as walker tanks for the clones. They have that look.
They do indeed. The guns may be a bit too big, but well, slap an orc to it and it fits.
Very true.
It looks really clunky.
It's funny you say really clunky, because today I found a video for something that is really clunky, which is a Russian walking excavator.
A what? Walking excavator?
We look at this and we go, that's just madness. Nobody would make that. It's insane.
Well, the Russians would make anything.
Hang on a minute. I should be able to send you this, shouldn't I? If I send this to Skype, would that work?
I don't know.
Can't work out how to send you a message. Is that? Ah! Oh, it's all too tricky for me.
Or you could simply put it into the Twitch chat, because there I could click a link too. Ah! I've got a message. Oh, you're gone.
That's right.
Wait. Oh no, where's Gory gone? Skype has put you off. Back to the call now. Back on call. What? Oh, yes. Now he's back.
So, have a look at this beast. This is like a Java sandcrawler, except it walks. So all of a sudden, walking Star Wars vehicles don't seem quite as ridiculous when you see this brute of a thing.
What the hell?
Dear Russia, seriously, why? It's like, have you ever seen those airplanes that don't have wings that they use to fly like 1 meter off the ground across frozen lakes? Yeah, it's like that. It's like you had no reason to build
those
this.
planes
You
at least make sense in their development because they are going below the radar and were fast attack vehicles as initially.
No.
But this is just weird.
Yeah, this is literally a Java sandcrawler walking around. How amazing is that?
If George, and this thing looks so old that I would bet on it, if George Lucas had known that this thing exists, he would try to have one of those in the original Star Wars story.
Oh yeah,
just to have a practical effect.
They wouldn't have bothered with tracks when they could have one of these walking around the place. Now, to be fair, it does look like it's as old as shit, but it's in Russia, so that could be 6 months of neglect. This is practically factory fresh.
I'm missing the mechanic running around banging his hammer against some parts.
No, it's me away. He's inside. That's the reason the legs going up and down. But why? The only thing I can think of, whatever type of excavator this is, wherever the terrain is like, that wheels would just bog down.
Probably.
I'm making tracks that big. It would turn it into the equivalent of the rat, which I'm pretty sure Hitler was told couldn't actually be made. So giant feet are better. I'm just glad they did it, to be really honest. It's madness.
It's insane.
It's gorgeous. It's great.
Well, where were we? Oh, we were somewhere about Bob.
Yeah, we were watching Bob's version of this
So
on
Bob,
Star Wars table.
you now know what to do next. We need a conversion.
Yeah, or just more weathering. We want to see that being their old version after they get made redundant. Just, the blue panels are already there. Just weather the shit out of it.
Oh, that's quick to the next. So you highlighted this one entry on Sergeant Roger Clark.
Yes, he won a golden butt last week. If you're looking last week at Tim's stream, we went through, this was the British Flames of War Army, and it's called Grandad's Army. So we asked him on the XLBS, did he pick that because his granddad served in it? Because obviously you've got like Dad's Army, so it could have just been a pun. So he said he would throw some history in, and he has done that. So Sergeant Roger Clark was his grandfather, NCO, and it gives you his service card, his, I assume, platoon rather than regimental picture with him highlighted in the middle, for the Durham Light Infantry.
This is some background for a project you usually don't see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, you never really see it at all.
And to be honest, besides historical, you would be hard pressed to do something like that for, let's say, Burrows and Badgers.
Well, yeah. It's
except maybe, this was my grandma's dog, and he's now a hero in Burrows and Badgers.
I don't know. I mean, there's a page there, presumably showing people in his troop or in his company, because you've got casualties in there and things like, members of the there's one there for
all three are casualties.
9th the 5th 41 granted power of attorney by somebody, and then you've got these signatures down the left. So it's just a really interesting little piece of history. So I just thought anybody who'd seen the actual
reminds me very much of the war diary of my grandfather that's still hovering above my head to be written down someday. Yeah, so this is something that makes you realize it's not that far long ago. 80 years isn't that much, to be brutally honest.
Let's move to the reserve list in June 46. Anyway, that's just a little
happier news. Blood Rage.
Say rage. Discuss.
So this is a slightly older project too. I think we have been here, have we? I don't think so.
Possible. We've seen several Blood Rages. Several Blood Rages, but this one, I hadn't clicked any buttons, so I didn't know whether or not you'd been floating around here.
No, I don't think so.
Well, he's done some terrific work, especially getting close to the actual artwork.
Yeah, I was just saying, here we have this lovely Loki looking grim in his red cloak, in his brown boots, which should maybe be black or something.
Don't know.
He's not showing boots on the picture as far as I can see, but brown somehow strikes me as a weird color.
But then if it's it is meant to be Viking age, so you would imagine raw leather in a lot of cases for those, just tanned.
Heimdall and Frigg. He looks like a horse lord of some description.
Maybe he is. Vikings were very fond of their horses.
But he looks very much like a horse lord of some Ring trilogy band on DVD. Maybe they took some notes from the design?
I think it's the other way. I remember when they released the Riders of Rohan and the Walkers of Rohan for the game, the very first thing we said in GW Belfast was cheap 25mm Saxons for playing Warhammer Ancients.
Well, if it fits, it fits. And this is Saruman. No, that's Odin, I presume.
Look, he's got thought and memory with him and everything.
Well, then he's one ahead of myself. I can't remember anything. If it wasn't for some mirror in the morning, I probably would forget how I look. Wouldn't be a bad thing. Maybe. So he has gone and done... And now he's done twins? A lot of twins? Or is there some background behind these?
No, these are the... whenever you play Blood Rage, you play like a clan. And the clans are slightly asymmetric. So there are certain things that are the same for everybody gets a ship or a set of ships for their fleet. Then after that you get variations. So each clan has got a different style of sculpt, a different sort of feel behind them. So those are hence the coloured bases, because they're still just board game pieces.
Oh, blind lady of the lake. Throwing swords at people, making them kings.
Some moistened bint. Lobbing scimitars. But yeah.
I think I need to rewatch those movies more often in English than German to get all the humor out of it. Though
I had to go and dig out the episode How to Identify Body Parts yesterday to watch the Woolloomooloo Flats University sketch, because I couldn't find it on the internet anywhere. And then once I watched it, it was like, that's why that's not on the internet anymore. Mr.
Throat Wobbler Mangrove. No, it's pronounced luxury yacht.
Luxury yacht.
Your nose is fake. No, it's not. Ah, lovely, lovely, lovely. So, what's next? Next is Mad Dog Stew with late, early Imperial Roman, whatever.
Yeah. The Imperial Early Romans.
So he's giving credit to Lloyd.
Yeah, I know, it's terrible. Don't worry, Lloyd will never see this.
Oh, if he does, he will be unbearable for months.
He's already unbearable. Don't worry about him.
Well, that's what she said.
Hey.
Oh.
But there's two types of Romans in here. There are Romans that go to the house in their normal get-up with their regular, I say regular shield transfers. They're very late Roman for regular shield transfers, but we'll not worry about that. And then there are the ones rocking the wanks.
Though it looks nice, I have to say, have to admit.
There's a great picture where they're side by side. Some with the, was it Chiro? Is that the name of the cross with the elongated P in it?
You're referring to this white shot?
Yeah, there you go. So they've got the actual classical late Roman, and then beside them the wanks. And if you didn't know better, you'd think that's fine.
I was about to say, nobody who's not in the cult won't recognize that as anything different but a cult, cock, whatever.
Wank. The wargamer rank.
I'm not going to say wank on camera. Oh, damn it. But he has done a lovely job on those little minis.
Those are 15mm gas.
There was another release that was prominently shown on the OTT website, where my first impression was, why are the pictures so small? And then I realized it's 15mm. That's why they are so small.
They're that big. Yeah.
No Banana Man for scale.
square shield offered more protection, but it was also harder to manufacture. The Romans ran into the same problem the Germans did in World War II, where they had really intricate, very, very good designs, but they were so difficult to make that it was actually better for them to go back to a less efficient design, like just a flat round or flat oval shield, and then to drop the Corum segmentia, the slotted plate that was all intricately overlapping, and just go, I should just make male shirts where one size fits all. So
yeah, he did nicely. And bloody system is acting up again.
It's because everybody in the chat's all clicking buttons like what they're supposed to. They're very good that way.
Like we told them to. Next up is something that I'm currently having a more interested look in, since they have announced a new
Second
version.
edition.
And there will be a rather closely following the English release, a German release of this too. So it could potentially be a gift for Christmas.
Dun, dun, dun.
But I'm not promising anything.
This is another one. It recently got resurrected.
Oh yeah,
but I've gone back to the start because I assume, because it's only recently resurrected.
I started this project by posting a group shot of barbarians I had on my blog before Beast of War 1.0. It's
nice to see they're slower than I am. So that's always good.
Is that even possible?
No, actually no, I don't think it is. But I can dream. Take it easy, Jim. Pleasure popping by.
Have a good night. And come again anytime soon. If you want to hang out, you're invited.
He's off to work now.
Working?
He's in the States after all.
It's better to have to work than getting no sleep at all.
That is true.
So he done barbarians in the past, a demon imp in the past, a ghost ship rider, and
and I'm not entirely certain if this was solely resurrected because contrast paints came out, but from the initial, I painted these years ago and have never gone anywhere, to all of a sudden starting going, this is painted, this is painted, this is done, moving on now, doing some imps, and they're nearly all contrast based. So,
well, if it works, it works.
Can't argue with the effectiveness.
I'm still hesitating on going to the local hobby store and getting more inks. Because I really want to try inks, but on the other hand, I'm hesitant because I don't want to ruin anything. How hard is it to strip inks?
Oh, not very hard at all. They're as easy to strip as acrylic paint. In some cases.
You mean like these two buggers that are still soaking and not getting rid of them?
Well, we're not entirely certain what they were actually covered in, though, are we? Take a hammer and chisel to them.
I think
in some cases, though, the ink is so such a fine layer compared to even acrylics, you could probably run them under a hot tap and get the ink back off.
Well, we wouldn't want that, would we?
I wouldn't.
I think I need to stop drinking. I can't open the bloody bottle.
Oh no. That is a drink problem. I can't get the lid off.
That's the safety precautions. If you can't get the bottle to open, stop drinking. Well, he's really churning them out here, one by one.
One by one, indeedly do.
Half-naked barbarians, a Jerry and a war. Well... Be honest, this is the reason why you have chosen this project.
No, not at all. Because weirdly, when I skimmed through this earlier, I never looked at the title of that. I looked at it and went, I have that model, and I went, oh no, I don't. I've got the dynamic version of that model, and scrolled on. I never realised he'd called it that. But I did see this because the wall is from TH Miniatures in Canada, which I have most of their stuff. They've just released 3 new sets of resin, which are absolutely gorgeous, that I'll probably be getting soon. If only Canada was a bit closer, so it didn't cost me so Fucking much.
Well, you could establish some sort of railway system via the North Pole.
That is true. That is true.
And that's the end of this project.
That is the end of the project, yep.
The hell he done in such a short time.
Yeah. And it's mostly get the colour down neatly and move on to the next one. You don't need to be overly fussy with it.
Nicely.
Look at that. It's another Reaper miniature from their 4th Kickstarter. Today seems to be Reaper Bones 4 day.
Not sponsored
idea how
or
many they've
endorsed by Reaper Bones.
They're probably up to Kickstarter 23 or something now. I can't really tell you.
At some time they must have so much money made they could easily afford to start new projects without crying for money, one would think. But then again, that's just grumpy old me. Because they get all the money, not me.
People are the worst.
Especially other people's.
Other people.
Unobtainium. Yeah, that's probably sure crazy. That sounds about right. Though if it would be unobtainium, the mini must be glowing by now.
Watch out, some giant blue space smurf cat thing will come and try and screw you.
Next, Victorian Empire Strikes Back again. Denzian, definitely a revisiting of sorts.
Is it? Oh, I hadn't noticed.
I think we have had him before, maybe. Possibly. I think.
If you say so, I remain unconvinced.
Where is it? Damn it. I think.
I think you'll find it's quite far down because I skipped this a few weeks because I thought, we've just had that.
Oh,
No.
God.
No. Stop.
Did
Stop.
he really paint
Stop.
all these?
Yeah, he did. And I feel his pain because I painted stripes on all my fucking sandbags as well.
So your
Although I will
brothers
go
in
one
stripes.
further. I painted stripes on all my sandbags in my final redoubt as well, and he didn't bother. So fuck yourself, Denzian.
So you have the moral high ground again.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I think he does because he knew when to stop. He looked at that and went, I'm not painting stripes on an entire box made of nothing but fucking sandbags. Do I look like a mentalist?
Look in the mirror. Do you look like Jerry? If no, you're not.
But yes,
Jeebus.
he has got it all finished to a place where he can play his Rogue's Drift games on it.
He can play, he says, casually looking at a project that would be a display piece for some people.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, and this is the nice thing, because there you see it all laid out. But then later on, he throws some other buildings. So the buildings aren't in situ. They're not bedded in. The landscaping is. But he then sets it up again to do a bit of a Spanish mission or Napoleonic style thing. Stop. Up. Your other up. Although looking at all those Zulus swarming over it is gorgeous. After all, it's time for a cup of tea. You'll see a picture of him in his
yes.
in his outfit.
Lovely job.
He's the one on the right.
Lovely.
I mean, if you're going to do that with Rogue's Drift, why not dress up in the?
This is the kind of
demo
table that really draws attention.
Oh yeah, very much so. Very much so. And then above that, we have a different setup where he's got it looking for a bit of a Peninsular War Napoleonic kind of thing going on there. So there, you're very keen. You're like Lloyd, forever scrolling past. So it shows it's not just. I said nothing. It's not just the drift and always the drift. He has made it in such a way that he can play other games. So it'll be perfect for things like Chosen Men, stuff like that. No, they weren't the South Wales borders. That is correct.
It looks very, very fucking good. I think did you already receive a gold button for this? If not, I think he should be put in some kind of lottery barrel before next time and do a spin in it. Mm-hmm. So this is the box you were talking about. He has not been pinstriping.
Yeah, he hasn't done that. Lazy shit.
Ah, too bad.
Huh?
Nearly perfect.
That's why he's not going to get a golden button. Yeah. We've got to have rules. Just saying. We've got to have rules.
At some point, I feel, since some of the later golden buttons have actually been shown just before on the Hobby Hangout, that we should implement some sort of voting mechanism for the faithful 20 that are always here and watching.
It's one way of doing it. The reason so many of them show up recently is because I'm going through. I spend like 2 hours before the show going through as many projects as I can, and then on Wednesday I go, here's 6 of my choice, Ben, for you to pick the final 3 from. And unless he happens to have seen something that I haven't himself and go, well, I really think that this one should be in this week, generally they'll come from my list. So not all the time, but the vast majority of the time, because it saves him spending. If I'm already doing 2 or 3 hours hooking through this, it saves him doing the same thing. He is the clever man.
And to be honest, he's doing a lot of writing work on the site, so there has been... I have noticed let's put it another way. Every time an article is published, the first thing I look at after I've seen the headline is who wrote it.
Oh yeah, no, it's generally all Benjamino these days.
It's like 80% of Ben, 10% Jerry, and the rest is somewhere sprinkled around the team.
Just say crew.
Not to say that everybody else does nothing, but it's a very prominent piece of work that's visible to the public eye.
It's division of labour. He doesn't have cameras and stuff. The lucky bastard.
Not yet.
Give it time.
If this all continues on, he may find himself having to deal with technology besides his books. Speaking of books, is Lloyd serious? Does he really not like books?
It's entirely possible.
Oh God.
I knew somebody who wouldn't watch black and white films on the grounds if they were any good that had remade them in colour. Didn't matter what year they came out in. Just that was him. Ian just went, I'm not doing it. If that film was that good, I'd have remade it in colour. So I don't watch black and white films. That was how he rolled. Maybe Lloyd's the same with books.
Oh God.
To be fair, he is a bit dyslexic. So I imagine...
Who, that black and white guy or Lloyd?
No, Lloyd. So I imagine after watching sentences write about on the page, you probably just want to throw them out a window. Maybe that's it.
Could be.
Or maybe just hates reading. It's like Bill Hicks. Got a reader here.
So we venture forth to the next project of Looper. The title sounds familiar. Spring Cleaning Challenge.
We came to right at the very start of the Spring Cleaning Challenge, and there was like one entry in it, and then it never got updated for like a couple of months.
I think this was the last time we looked at him with this lovely grey-greenish flying carpet.
Banshee.
Yes. The Lady Harrow's mod. At least I have seen this definitely before, but these...
There's a few of them kicking around.
There. Oh,
so
God.
I don't know if it's her or somebody else, but he's been doing...
Would you look at this
a variety of things. Yep. Good old Eldred. This one.
This is the old miniature, is it?
No, the old miniature was square on, looking to the left.
Oh, yes.
So that's the I assume, plastic, because I think they'd stopped doing field cast by then. But he jumps around. He does bits and bobs of everything. I approve. I approve of his jumpiness.
And we see a zombie doing a flesh strip tease of sorts, or why is he pulling up his lower intestines?
No, that's not a GW model. Or if it is, it's from God knows where. Does it say where it's from?
Alexis risen in Cardo armor.
Oh,
Nope.
Kid or Armor, then these Privateer Press. So it's War Hordes.
He's really all over the place.
There you go. Launder's in there as well. Yeah, no, I approve. Oh, do I ever approve? Yo, why stick around at one thing when you could be doing bits and bobs of everything?
Well, to maybe get things finished.
No. No.
Yes, I know, I'm a tease. I'm sorry.
He's blackened out the boobs.
What?
On that snake lady.
Where?
Not sure why.
Snake lady?
Mm.
I haven't been there yet. So there's a drunken lady. And I can tell for sure that she wouldn't be drinking from a skull in this fashion. Because skulls have holes in them.
Maybe it's like Warren's skull tankard. It's just a simulation of a skull around an actual vessel.
Oh, here we are at the Yes, this we have seen because there are some buttons of mine.
But look,
Boobs.
boobs have been covered up. No
This
boobs
is
here,
not
no
YouTube.
boobs.
We can show boobs. Don't be scared. Since Amanda has shown her glorious mounted mutinous tootinous,
That is true.
there is no border anymore, no boundaries keeping us from showing anything that's a miniature. Guys, a miniature. Not real pictures, just miniatures. Even if yours is small, that doesn't count as miniatures. That's just a small dick. Don't show your dick. Just show your miniatures.
Oh, I don't want to see any of them in the project next week.
I suddenly have the fear that somebody will get hold of a 3D scanner, scan himself skyclad, paint himself up in a printed version and say, see, this is me. It's a mini. I'm safe.
Sure, yeah. Go nuts. Go nuts.
My brain hurts.
Really nice metal shields on those.
He has done a stunning job on everything. That
Yes.
sod.
Well, some people are like that.
And they're not even afraid of showing you what they're capable of doing. This is the worst part. Showing
Don't
it to the
worry.
world, saying it's all great.
Just remember what I always say. One day they'll be dead.
Well, maybe that will be true for us too. I'm not.
No,
Do
I'll
we-
be fine.
I don't think either that I will be dead ever. For as long as a man's name will be spoken, he will be not forgotten. So,
Oops,
next up
Daisy.
is Milmar's Hobbies project. Milmar is a name I haven't come across before. Is that a silent lurker in the forums?
It didn't used to be so silent.
Or a change in username that makes me confused?
No, he did the 40k Uncharted series with the guys. He lives in Belfast in near Nairn, or at least that neck of the woods. But then he had a attack of a child,
Oh,
which kind of put him back for a while. So he's started getting back into painting
the worst
and actually commenting and doing stuff.
the worst thing about getting a child, it's usually contagious. It usually doesn't stay with one.
No.
Just as a piece
Sorry.
of advice.
Just realised I posted the wrong project. That's Milma's there. It's
I
all
like-
40k.
I like his painting style. I still think the model is ugly as hell.
Oh yeah, they're wearing those terrible moon boots, like what the kids used to wear in the 90s.
And this stupidly flappy wings at the back of the jump ton. It's oh god, GW, what were you thinking? Didn't you listen when Jerry said don't do your own drugs?
Never touch your own supply.
Original and new look. Yeah, that's nice, but that's a genuine jump pack. This is how you get somebody off the ground. Strap some fucking rockets to his back.
Are you sure? You sure it's not with this? Let me see this. Fuck off, YouTube, you cunts.
Oh, what now?
I just want to show where GW got their idea for those stupid bouncy ones
Oh,
from.
so you're looking for moon boot videos?
It's specifically these.
Oh God, do I really?
Oh yeah, you do.
Oh.
And skip to 30 seconds.
God, this is going to get. What?
You don't need to watch much. These came out in the 90s. They were literally like you tie a trampoline suspended in a couple of fucking basins to your feet, and whenever you walk, your feet move inside them, but the base doesn't, to give you the feeling that you're walking on the moon. Load of balls is what it is. Anyway, some cunt in GW seen that and went, you know what, Space Marines would be fucking amazing on a pair of those, and that's where they came from.
The funny thing is, in Germany, we call moon boots very thick, cushioned winter boots.
Yes, but these were a specific brand called moon shoes or moon boots
So
that I
those
dimly
were
remember from the
moon boots trademark.
trademark. Yeah.
Oh God.
Anyway, they're bad, and they should feel bad for making Space Marines wear them.
And especially making people paint them.
Mm.
And buy them. It's even worse. But he is a talented bugger.
I think we have a couple of armies in the studio painted by him.
You have?
Mm.
How's-
They're there to collect dust on the shelves around us, because we never actually put anything 40k based on a table. They're very good for that. Very good dust traps.
Not even when the kids come around to play.
Oh no, they've got their own stuff. Don't let them use the.
Of course,
let them
you
use the
need
painted
to
armies.
You need to sell them their crack before you can let them play.
That, and if you ever seen them, they're incredibly sticky, greasy things. Children, they just touch things and everything gets covered in stuff, and they're breaking things all the time.
You seem to forget I have one of my own.
See, you know.
Though I'm very much proud of her, she usually keeps her sticky fingers to herself.
Mm.
Maybe it's because my wife and I yell at her every time she's eating something sticky when she's done. Go wash your hands now. Don't touch anything. Don't try to switch on the light. Just go for the sink. It usually works. More or less.
I'm convinced. Pew pew pew.
There are worse children in the world than my daughter. Very
That would
much.
be everybody else's child. Is that the answer?
No, she has her phases like every man and woman in this world has at some time. I think people who are tolerable and happy all the time are suspicious. They're either mentally unstable or taking way too many drugs. Either or.
Can't it be both?
No healthy human is happy all the time. There is no light without shadow, no up without down.
No in without out.
Exactly. Cheers.
Prost.
Speaking of German words, what's so hard on the word Landsknecht that Ben has butchered it so badly in the last XLBS?
I don't know.
God damn it, Landsknecht. Is that hard? Is it?
It's probably the propensity for a lot of soft C's in English.
Yeah, there are some words that are quite irritating. My daughter is now just finishing her first year of learning English, and some words are still very confusing her.
I'm not surprised.
The most confusing thing for most English learners is the differentiation between foot and food. Because it's so simple to get confused.
I can see why.
Yeah. But that's besides the point. I'm going off the rails again, and we are going to a big project. I saw the update of his this afternoon, and at first I thought he was mentally unstable. I'm pretty sure now he's fucking insane.
Oh yeah. Oh, screaming off the deep end.
He has looked into the abyss and took a step forward.
They said, please don't call me again.
He embraced everything that the Abyss has thrown at him. Look at that monster.
Every blue is a hand-carved brick.
Try to count them. Try to guess how many of these bloody bricks he has done.
You know, that's a way we can give away a Catachan kernel. Suggested to Warren, get people to estimate the amount of bricks he's had to cut for that. It's at least 3. We know that.
1, 2, 3. Many more.
many lots.
It's insane.
It's really nice to see. He also, apart from having many pictures from various angles, we get some close-ups because he's still not done working on it. So there would be gantries and stuff being installed, and even split down sections laid out on the floor. So it is a totally gameable piece of work. I'd been messaging him on FacePage as well, actually, at one stage, seeing how he was getting on. And it was like, you know, at some point he wants to play a big game once the COVID restrictions are off, because obviously he was doing this as a sort of a tribute to people who pass away due to the coronavirus.
Has Nottingham called him already?
I can't imagine they would. They don't like people bringing stuff in that they've made themselves. It just encourages their clientele to not buy their plastic shite. He did say if he could get across to Northern Ireland and get that transported, he would love to come over to the studio. And it's like, you know what, mate? I would fucking love you to come over to the studio with that. That would be amazing.
Maybe I'm totally going off my knowledge here, but maybe we should show Duncan this. Maybe he could somehow christen it by slapping on two thin coats somewhere, just for shits and giggles. Sticking it to the man.
It's going to take more than one thick coat of contrast on those bricks.
This is a project that the sheer amount of work he has put into this is amazing.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. From the depths of the dungeon all the way up to the top of that tower, and there's still more work to come. I mean, he's just started into the detail work now. Now that the bricks are on, the detailing can begin. You know,
it's like somebody smiling, walking into the chainsaw, laughing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then asking for, "Can I have some more, please? Is this all you have got?"
Oh, that's just...
If he really pulls this through, this is amazeballs.
I mean, even at the stage it's at there, I'd be looking at it going, you know what, we'll just hit that with a primer and call it job done. Once everything's grey, it's fucking done. Just walk away.
Never think of it again.
Yeah.
It's
where you ask somebody to give you a hand and prime it, and while you're out of the room fetching an airbrush and airbrush primer, they grab a couple of rattle cans and melt it on you.
Oh,
I never thought.
I think that would lead to some sort of self-defense suicide. That would be the equivalent of walking in the shadows in Ankh-Morpork willingly.
Oh yeah. Oh.
It's suicide. Basically.
There are a lot of ways to commit suicide in Ankh-Morpork.
Going out at night.
Murder's rare. Telling a troll if you got rocks in your head. Asking for a short in a dwarf bar. I'm just looking for a citadel at the moment because I want to see the... I'm pretty sure there should be some... Yeah, his tower needs to have 3 very small towers coming out the top of it.
Yeah.
So
there will be more.
so there's still another layer to go on that, and then he's got a few roofs to pop on as well.
So
the roofs are done in red. That's quite nice.
Piston Privateer, if you ever need some words of encouragement, you're doing great. Please finish this project.
He has a face page, which is Tiger Eye Creation. because he posts them there first, then he updates the blog here. So I think I seen them yesterday when he put the update there. But he does other bits and bobs as well. So he's a talented bugger.
Yes, he is. Let's quickly get somewhere safe.
Yes.
Oh no, the Luftwaffe.
That's safe.
Well, for me it is.
Yeah.
I'm on the giving end of the receiver. So, Blood Red Skies by Noyatat, which is gas.
Yes.
Ah, I've got it right. Wait, does he have a new username? Is that some kind of tradition of rotating usernames?
No, I don't think so. No, Noyatat is. We often can't remember it or pronounce it, so he always gets defaulted to Gaz, so it's easier that way. But yeah, he's been working on his
Germans.
Shrike. Fuck Rolf. And it even has a little YouTube channel where you can go to see his clever tutorials where he's been showing people how to paint things with like colours and stuff.
I'm not quite sure how I'm on the point of that he has restrained himself from painting the swastika on the back of the plane.
Maybe couldn't be arsed. Could be angles.
Could be. That's always a sore spot when you go to conventions over here.
Oh.
If somebody has a historically correct diorama, there's a bet that someone will tout and scream and yell. Even if you're telling, no, we are not playing, this is a diorama. That is how it looked. They didn't take them off just for attacking someone.
Some people are idiots, though, you know.
I mean, I get the sensitivity, being myself a German, for why we have to be extra careful with this.
Yeah, but when was the last time you seen a neo-Nazi parade where they were carrying 15mm or 28mm World War II figures in their hands as a sign of white power? You don't often see it. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you've never seen it.
Probably
they wouldn't
not.
do it. You know,
not being
quickly. Everybody, open up a bolt action army, and each of you take one tiny German figure. You'd carry it with us as we march towards the city hall. Fucking hell!
If they would do something like that, it would make it identifying them much easier.
Oh well, that's true. Yeah.
If they all had little SS soldiers around their neck, we would have something to grab them by and pull them off the streets, and then put them in some kind of box.
Don't pull them by their tiny fighting men. That would be terrible. Oh God! Do you imagine the mess?
Oh yes. Can you imagine the pain? Ripping the little tiny fighting man off. And then beating them with it. But he has done some nice painting.
He has.
If the tutorial is as I think it will be, because we will not be showing it here now, because you lot can watch him after this, or whenever you're wanting to.
It's well worth it. He hasn't even had 100 views on that yet. It's terrible, really.
Make them walk on Lego bricks.
Yes.
Lego bricks did deserve that. Really not.
But definitely go through Gaza sub, have a look at his stuff. He is using contrast paints even, which is interesting. Nobody's allowed to give him any more thumbs up because he's hit 13, which would be a crit in the near side project. So
I'm just giving him to annoy you.
Oh, you son of a bitch. I'll take mine off again.
Oh, he has got a Logitech webcam and forgot to remove the watermark. Guys. There. In the little lower corner.
Maybe he's sponsored by them.
I think so. Could possibly be. Maybe eventually. Next. Kit bashing. By Skyhawk. Yes. He's done it again.
Captain Skyhawk, he's our hero.
So he
Gonna take recycling down to 0.
So this is the last time we visited him with his glorious command station thingamajig from the what was it? Tab of tabs.
Made from a what you call them? Washing up. Not dishwasher. The ones that go for your washing machine for clothes. One of those tubs turned into some sort of waste water processing plant type thing. We started onto a wind trap now, specifically for Necromunda, because it's one of the things what you can have.
So this is not just a simple piece of terrain, but something relatively functional?
Yeah, well, something that your gang can control. Now, you don't actually need it on the tabletop. But the fact that he's decided to start going through the Necromunda list and going, well, you could have one, therefore I'm going to make one. But what he has done is he's wrote up an article on how he did the first. Remember the little spotlight condenser? So he's done a full article, which we're going to be putting on the website.
Sometime in the future?
Maybe Friday this week, or possibly not, because Indomitus is coming out, so I think I'm going to be up in Coleraine with a mask on, fucking boxes into the back of a van. So maybe early next week. So there, if you've liked what you've seen with the work he's done, the guide he's done for how he went about doing the various bits and bobs and weathering and the like is fairly comprehensive. So I just thought I'd throw that in there just so that people could see he's still cracking away at it.
Yeah, and until now I failed to make the connection, because I saw this update of him, Windtrap started, and today I saw this update and I couldn't make quite heads nor tail, but now seeing those both side by side, okay, this is in addition to these.
Yeah,
and again,
imagine like a moisture evaporator will probably go on the top where that hatchway is. I imagine that will spin, generating the power or whatever it is inside the actual clamshell packet of something.
And all these
bottle
little
hand sanitizer.
All these little grubbins that he is stuck on at the moment look like don't look like much.
Yeah.
But as we have seen with this project in the past, the minute that thing gets primed, it will pull together.
I think the main thing that it's interesting seeing is where he puts things like the seam lines and puts the extra. It's not even so much gluing the extra pieces on.
He did an update. That's short.
Oh, has he? Just while we've been talking.
Is he in chat? You loony?
No, I don't think he is.
Well,
Barry, are you here, Barry? Barry says no.
You sod.
Oh, I was right though. Look, that is in that little thing there. Well, but once again, like I was saying, you've got the seams that he's made out of plastic card strips, so you don't have that seamless shell, which I think is probably the biggest mistake anybody makes if they're trying to make a bit of scrap something into a building. The tendency is to stick a door on and stick this on and stick that, but you never end up with any seams or joins on the walls. It's just one piece.
The flat finish is mostly, it doesn't look too natural, even if a real building of similar design would look more flat.
Yeah.
You need this extra detail simply because it's a smaller scale than reality.
Reality sucks.
Big time. And they don't even pay.
No. Buggers. Not a hand job or anything. The bastards.
Where were we again? Did we do miniatures? Or was that some sort of other thing we're talking about?
I think it was another thing.
What movie was it? I think Platoon? Me make love long and good.
That sounded like...
Was it Platoon?
That sounded like E.T. attempting to get a hooker.
E.T. finger home.
I think Full Metal Jacket is the one you're looking for there.
Tubuku. Yeah.
Although Now I can't get ET propositioning a whore out of my head.
E.T. phone sex.
He make love. Ooh. His finger isn't the only thing that's glowing. Oh, run, children, run! He's not your friend. E.T., the extraterrestrial sexual predator.
Have you ever read the book?
He fell to the dark side. Just saying.
Have you ever read the book on E.T.? There is
No.
a book. There is actually a book describing events after the movie, and it's really good as far as I remember, because it's a very long time after, and the race of the ET is asexually reproducing, so there's only one parent to a child.
Oh, it's no better.
There's basically no sex involved, and they live in some sort of pumpkins that grow to the size of houses. So very weird story. and somehow E.T. was an outcast because he has been in contact with the others. I think I must hunt that story down.
See, but based on what we know now, that he is a sexual predator. we also know that he knows Yoda's race. He can use the Force because he got the bike to fly. I can only assume they discovered he was some sort of Sith.
And his race was in the Senate.
Yeah, his race. That's right. His race are in the Senate as well. So yeah, E.T. was banished to Earth for whatever dark side things he was getting up to.
Well, but that creates a very interesting loop, because I think the boy was playing with Star Wars toys.
They meet Yoda when they go out to do Halloween trick or treating. So.
Oh no! I was thinking of Joey, the movie.
Joey?
This little boy that had some psychic powers, and this evil doll from the neighbor next door that's controlling stuff, and then suddenly his toys come to life, and when his parents run to his room, there's an AT-ST walking out, and the Millennium Falcon toy flies around, followed by a TIE fighter.
No, I don't remember any of that. Don't know what that's from.
The movie's called Joey, and it's from around the era of E.T. and the other mid-80s.
I'm glad that I'd never seen that, or I've blanked it from my memory.
Oh, it's actually a quite nice pseudo-horror movie. You should give it a go. And Dr. Fuck, we did destroy a classic for generations.
No, we didn't. Because at no point did we suggest that you Photoshop out all the shotguns for the
My
FBI
thoughts
agents
exactly.
and replace them with radios. That destroyed a classic.
That was a very dishonest part, because, as we all know, the Americans love their guns.
Love their guns. Can't get enough their guns.
Next up.
Pew.
So, speaking of Star Wars, this guy looks like some senator I know.
It's got a very similar outfit to
Organa. Senator Organa.
Well, he looks like Senator Organa, but he's got a very similar outfit to the pilot or the guards that Padme has on
True.
whatever planet she's from. I can't remember anymore. All I can think of was Keo Nemoidia, and I know it's not that. Weird. Anyway, wherever they're from. Naboo, thank you.
Naboo to Coruscant, and then it goes boom. So,
Doesn't go boom fast enough.
Frederica
Freddy baby.
did a Song of Ice and Fire.
Game of Thrones.
Well, that would be a nice game.
It would be. Just everybody
A
playing chess.
tabletop chess just with chiss.
But it's a nice little guide, apart from the fact the figures are quite cute. He's done a good job on them. There's these really comprehensive paint along with me styly things where you get, I've done this. Start with this color. Base coat, wash, shade, step.
He's
by
got
step,
pubes
step by
on
step.
his mini. He's got pubes on his mini.
He is called the Hound. Maybe it's entirely possible.
So
he's
it's
just
fur.
or he's pulled the hair out of somebody's head. Either is equally likely.
These colors look a bit dusty. Is that contrast, or why could that be? Or maybe
No, contrast
bit...
wouldn't be. No, he's gone in with white as a final highlight, or with something, because there's a reverse pick, and you can see it's quite clearly got like a white streaking on the red shade. Look at the top, top right.
I see what you mean.
So it's deliberate.
All in all, they do look nice, and he's even painted the eyes. Bloody hell.
Yes.
Loonies. I'm surrounded by loonies.
Didn't need to.
I think I need to refresh this page again, because, again, the counting's not working.
Yeah, if you refresh it, all that'll happen is he'll have included 3 or 4 new posts while we've been talking.
Is he a quick posting?
Who knows? I don't think so.
No, he's not. Lord, what is this spider? Well, it's a fat spider for sure.
He is, he's eating plenty of flies. Who had all the flies? Who had all the flies? You fat bastard, you fat bastard. No. Okay.
Is that some kind of Irish child song I should be aware of?
No, you sing in the football stands. Whatever fat fuck is waddling around. The Lannisters are quite cute as well. I like them. They've got almost like a Sally helm on.
It's the painting style strikes me of a, what should I call it, semi comic like. It's a bit over emphasized in parts.
Bright and punchy.
Yeah.
Do you think whoever sculpted these for Cool Mini or not don't know what a visor is?
By the
Why
looks
are none of those
it,
fucking visors over their eyes? They don't know how a fucking helmet works.
But on the other hand, I seem to remember that the artwork for those minis doesn't look very much different. And I don't know where the original artwork came from, if there has been something that has been going through George R. Martin's hands, or...
I don't know. I know a lot of the original miniatures because it was done in conjunction with Dark Sword, who have the license for the books. So it may be a lot of the stuff had been concepted by them, or they've gone in afterwards and added additional stuff. That one's got his visor down.
Yeah.
How come he's managed to work out how to wear his helm properly? Oh no, he's not. No, because there's his nose. No, it's just far away.
No, it's small, very small. It's weird, but then again, maybe the helmet's design is walking around, tipping it on, getting in battle, pulling it down. Wouldn't make much sense, but it's a book. A book of fantasy about betrayal, dragons, burning ladies, burning cities, killing weddings. Did I miss something? Oh yeah, the fucking around.
Lot of fucking. Did you know the percentage of fucking goes down as the percentage of plot increases? So like season 1, people are going around going, have you seen Game of Thrones? People are going, what? No, don't care about it. Go, oh, there's so much fucking in it. And so lots of people started tuning in for all the fucking. And then like they hooked you by season 1, and then season 2 the fucking started to drop off, and then by like season 3 there's less fucking, but they're starting to put more and more complicated plots and interweaving machinations of various houses and stuff. So by the time you hit like series 6, nobody even gets their nips out anymore because they have you by that stage, and then they fucked it all with series 8.
I can't remember at what point I stopped watching.
Was it series 6 where nobody gets their nips out?
I couldn't tell you. I think the last conscious memory I have is when Cersei's, the dragon mother thingamajig, is starting to amass armies to set over to the other world, whatever. I just got basically bored to death by that.
Trying to remember her name. It's not Cersei. Cersei's the other one. She's the one who explodes all her kids. But yeah, I know the one you're talking about when she spends like forever in a fucking day getting an army and then getting that army wiped out, then getting another army and then getting that army wiped out. Spends a lot of time failing miserably on the other side of the sea.
Daenerys, yes, that was her name. It was just bloody stupid. So at some point, I was very late to the party. I think we were at season 4, 5, or even 6 when I started watching, and I mangled through the first 2 seasons and thought to myself, what the hell are people loving about this? This is so stupid.
Oh, we've already discussed it, the fucking.
Yeah, but if I want to see fucking, I'm turning up the internet. I don't need to watch some B-class actors showing their nips. Well,
hey, some of them are C-class. Don't rate them too highly.
Buggering Off into Terrain-O-Rama by George Seeley? Seeley George. So, what has he done?
He's started working on a variety of foam-based things. So there is a bit more than foam, because he's done some, I think, 3D printing for runes, but it's really just his beginning of his gaming tables. So he's been stealing that guy from that magazine in the 1980s that Lloyd copied, his idea for foam hills.
I was just about to say there was some light technique involved in this.
Oh no, not according to some fellow on the internet who said he'd been doing it since the 80s and Lloyd was copying him. It's like, really? How come nobody has fucking done this then? Why are we not seeing these fucking hills every bastard where?
Maybe it's some sort of parallel.
Well, that's true. We could have woke up some morning having dimension hopped and not realized it, coming from a place where everybody makes foam hills all the time.
I was rather thinking of somebody laying down on his sofa plucking away at some foam he has, and then having suddenly a strike of genius and saying, if I paint this brown and green, this looks like a hill. And I can hit somebody on the head without hurting, which is a minus in my book, but
you can't have everything. No, he has done it using Lloyd's ripping technique, which, I put it to you, is good for rocks, is less good for making hills look like hills. Everything is a rocky plateau rising out of the ground.
Though it has the advantage that you have some level playing field.
Yes, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just the edging. And I found, because we tried doing smooth cuts using razor saws and using electric knives, like carving knives and all sorts, to try and get a smoother finish. And I discovered somebody using this upholstery foam to make props like a cosplay, and they used a belt sander, and you kind of actually get a perfectly curved surface with the belt sander. It's messy as be damned, but if anybody wants to do this style of hill, which is really, I've got to hand it to him. I've done quite a lot. I've got cliffs and all sorts of shit out of it myself, but it's very noticeably rock edged. So I'm possibly going to pick up a belt sander and try and do some smooth cliffs or smooth hills and lumps and bumps and mounds without having to always default to plucking the edges to get this craggy face to mask the edge of it.
Have you tried using scissors?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, because the best you can do with scissors is to keep shearing and shearing and shearing, and you just end up with like little lumps, little concave lumps everywhere, because you'll never get it off in one go and you'll never get it perfectly rounded. You're just, every time you take a chunk, you're just giving yourself another divot, so you end up with like a golf ball of foam. But no, the belt sander was perfect because they literally just got curved shapes and bits and pieces using it. So if people are keen on doing this but go, I don't want that rocky edge, prepare a belt sander and a vacuum cleaner, because you're going to have a lot of dust and mess. But it is possible to get the smooth finish.
Looking at this picture, I somehow get a vibe of late 80s, early 90s computer games. You know what I mean?
Oh,
A very distinct level of height being seen, like, let's say, on the Super NES, The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
You
Ghost
only have a
goblins.
2D screen, but this
Yeah,
graphically,
you know where you're going.
yeah, it just makes you realize there is a difference in height. Take care. And I think for some games that actually incorporate cover, if you use this foam, let's say 2 inches thick,
Yeah.
you have a perfect cover. If you're behind it, if you're standing on top of it, everybody can see and shoot you.
It works for me.
It doesn't look wrong for some reason, even
Yeah.
you know it's wrong. it wouldn't be this way in nature.
Yeah, it's a level of abstraction, but it can be coped with.
It fits the level of abstraction with the game itself. Because you know your minis won't walk around by themselves and do crazy stuff if they're not minis made from Blinky with some weird electronics in them.
Full of magnets.
I'm still waiting for him to come up with some weird way making them move on their own.
I'm still trying to work out how to download the app. Or sorry, sideload the app into my phone. It's like,
It's basically the same the way you transfer pictures from your phone to your PC if you're using cable.
oh, I just stick a cable in.
Yeah.
Oh, I can do that.
You use a cable, you put the APK he has in a folder you can quickly find, and if it's on your phone, then you can simply say, open this, and then he will ask, do I want to install this? Are you sure this is not coming from a secure source? It's not really that hard. That being said, if your phone is somehow really secure by the manufacturer, it could block it, but
Who knows? Time will tell.
we shall see. So for the last star of this evening, we have, I think this is Metro Exodus.
Could be.
At least the picture looks a hell a lot like Metro Exodus.
I'm not seeing any giant walking excavators though, so can't be entirely certain.
True. So this is by Warhammer Grimace. Stuck at home, keeping myself sane. A lad, have to put it to you. Too late. You're in the miniature hobby. Nobody here is sane.
No,
It comes
that is
with a
very
hobby.
true. Very true.
Sane people don't do our hobby. Just embrace it. Accept the fact. Look at
Be all that
me.
you can be.
Look at Lloyd. Look at anybody you can see on the internet doing this. We're all nuts. So he's doing what exactly? Urban basing tutorial.
Oh, he's doing everything. Everything. In
All
this
the
case,
things.
Yeah, this is just, I'm kicking around my house because I've been furloughed, and in the meantime I'm going to be doing everything hobby I can. Painting, writing stuff, doing projects. So yes, there is urban basing being made here for some 40k stuff using all manner of crap.
So this is basically the basic basing that you can do. Use plastic scrap, put it on, done.
Yeah. Making rubble out of chunks of sprue and bits of wire, and then fish, dribbly rabble stuff, whatever you call it, ballast. And he's got a few examples at the end before he starts heaving into other things. I say heaving into other things. He's already done the other things. So it has been a very much an eclectic mix.
Sadly, I can't embiggen his pictures because they're
No.
not really embrace. But
Which is a shame, especially for those where he's going, here's a whole bold action army, or here's a whole flames of war army, or, you know.
look at all my minis. Yeah, I would.
Oh, I would love to look at them. I would love to look at them so much.
Maybe if he has done, let's see.
I think he's uploaded them. Isn't that Photo Bucket's stupid fucking sign or something in the top left? Where's that camera from? What cunt does that?
I could tell you. No, it's either he has re-uploaded them on some WordPress blog of his own, But that's not much better, is it? No, it's not. It's rather
I thought
bad.
it was Photobucket. It felt like Photobucket to me, which doesn't like people looking at anything they've done if you're not paying for it these days.
So it's like Pinterest.
Oh god, I hate Pinterest. I managed to go like 2 weeks without seeing Pinterest come up in any web searches I was doing, and then it reappeared last night.
That's why I stopped using Google as a search engine. If you use DuckDuckGo or anything else, Pinterest will be hammered down.
DuckDuckGoose.
DuckDuckGo is an actual search engine. It's not, and it's a very good one. You get different results as from Google.
Is it as good as Bing?
Oh, Jerry!
What about Ask Jeeves?
Don't.
I always like to ask Jeeves. I'd ask Jeeves a question, and then Jeeves would come back with an answer that in no way helped you whatsoever. It's like, what is the capital of Bhutan? Would you like to buy some tea towels? Well, how did you even get that from what I... Fuck off, Jeeves. Jeeves' first results were always trying to sell you something random.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, here's some bold action he has done.
Blot blot.
And this is a weird looking picture because I can actually click it.
What?
Yes, the madness.
It's probably a mistake. Oh, look, he's got musket, sword, and paint on WordPress. You were right. For all your allied needs in the Pacific.
Oh, filthy rats, dirty scavens.
No, they're not. They're fine. They might not be dirty skaven. They might be delightful ratkin.
Have you backed the space rats yet?
Have I backed it? No.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
Yeah. I don't need it. I already have enough space rats to do me a lifetime. So I don't need to get into another company's space rats.
This is an interesting color scheme for the Sigmarite loonies. They look more like corn berserkers this way.
That's probably what they are, let's face it. It's only a matter of time.
Just switch heads.
They are very red.
Oh yes, candy red, I would say.
That's what I'm looking at, yeah. It is a very candy colour. Did he say how he did them? Did he just go, I went candy with these? Because I'm curious now.
Metal
Washes
contrast.
and glazes over metallic.
Contrast
So,
Blood
yeah.
Angels red. Metallic red color. Blue contrast.
For all of you out there who want to do Iron Man.
Silver and red ink.
Yep. Well, obviously that's the easiest way to do it. But if you're worried GW aren't getting enough money this week, silver and contrast red.
Getting all the monies.
Oh, he's reading about the Civil War, Stephen and Matilda.
He is all over the place again. So this is a project
Again,
much to your delight.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with being all over the place. He's even based his objectives for The Walking Dead. One of them on a proper square base, the rest unfortunately on rounds, but you can't have everything. Can't have everything.
Those look like the Conquest models.
Sure.
Yes, because look at that sergeant with his little doohickey on his left leg. It's this one. I'm still contemplating if I should use my sparkly
Purple?
Marines and give them the wank on the shoulder pads.
Oh, definitely. Definitely the wank up there. They need it somewhere. Shoulder pad's probably the best place to put it.
A big fucking wank on the shoulder pads. You've heard it here first.
In sparkly green and purple.
Spans Marines with a wank. Has anybody done sky-clad Space Marines yet?
I don't think so. Just buy some 54mm dollies.
Some naked barbarian models, put some surplus shoulder pads on them and call it a day.
The OTT Cult of Games logo that you might have seen earlier on the Roman shields got nicknamed a wank.
Wargamers Inc.
Because it's a Wargamers Inc. Because it's the Inc. but it's got a second leg. So.
In the exact same way as we are all cocks.
Well,
but spelled with a G.
Yeah. It's the Renedra barn. That's quite a nice bit of kit, that barn.
Is it?
Yeah. I should probably get one of those at some stage. I won't. I don't like that, though. Who made that? Is that Renedra as well? The size of those stones. Who the fuck put that barn together? How did they lift those stones up? They're fucking huge. Sorry. Just saying. They are. They are, though. They're fucking huge.
Oh, and here we have some 50mm Germans. Those are actually small Germans.
Not just far away.
Nope. Small.
Genuinely small. Teeny tiny. It's a nice project.
I think he forgot to paint the commander on top. He just washed over him.
Maybe he's not. I was going to say maybe he's not finished yet. Maybe he's not started yet. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that.
Or
it's
maybe
unusual.
he's just been through some mud.
It's a lot of mud.
This is all
because you could
over the
potentially
place.
use that, then hit it with salt, then paint it up, and then pull the salt off to get your weathering back to that slightly rusty look. I don't think he is, though.
Attacks.
Could do.
God, what has he all in his...
Look, there's Dreadball, Galaxy's most popular game. Pcha.
Never played it, only heard it. But since I'm so bad at Blood Bowl, I won't be starting another sports-based miniature game.
Don't worry about it. You can't really be bad. You just need to pick the right team and then repeatedly, smash your opponent in the face until you win.
I'm sure I could even mess that up.
Stoic arms. Well, the nice thing about Dreadball as opposed to Blood Bowl, he's got one of the Shinobi resins from Rackham, the lucky bastard. I don't have one of those. How come he's got one of those?
Maybe he has been a nice boy and Santa gifted it him.
Bastard.
Or he was simply quicker.
Well, to be fair, I never really bothered with him because it was like, why do I need to spend money on giant statue thing? And then years later it was like, I wish I'd got them before they went away. But yeah, Blood Bowl, you can run into problems with Blood Bowl if your team isn't set up to take on your opponent, because your opponent will beat you, and then every time a touchdown is scored, you reset, and then you get beaten again, and then you reset and get beaten again. Yes. Dreadball, every time a point is scored, the ball automatically goes back in. Your miniatures don't reset.
Oh.
So if your opponent has pushed so far down the pitch to get you out of the way to score, then they're out of possession and you've got a free run at them. And then you can't... The points are... It's like a tug of war. So if you start at 0, if you score a point, you go to 1. If I score a point, it goes back to 0. So you don't end up with like 3-2s or whatever. It's quite springy.
Why isn't he showing off the contents of his games? He's always showing the boxes. And especially this one has very nice miniatures in it.
Oh, that's deliberate. I told him to do that because I knew it would annoy you.
You sod.
Yeah, I know. I'm a terrible bastard. Now.
And even more, and now we are into Rome's, and he seems a proper hobby butterfly.
Nothing wrong with that.
Going from one insane project to the next. I couldn't keep track of all those. I would completely lose it.
It's really simple. They're all on that stack in front of him. Let's go, what am I painting this week? Oh, well, it's all the stuff on my desk. Because I have a feeling it's like my desk, where it just accumulates. And then a new project started and other stuff is just gently pushed to the back.
I have to be brutally honest. On that kind of desk, I would never get anything finished or started again at a certain point, because I wouldn't dare to sit down again.
I never get anything finished, but I'm never worried about not starting something. There's always room to push more stuff to one side.
And at some point they fall over and lay on the ground, and then the vacuum will suck it up. If there's a vacuum in the house.
That's why you need to get one of those like Dyson, where you can take the big plastic cylinder off and then shake it and see what's in there before you empty it.
You need some sieve to put that all through to get the big parts at least.
Yeah. You know, it's half the fun of hoovering. It's seeing what you've dropped. It's the only reason I hoover my room.
Oh, there it is.
Wonder what I've done this week. Yeah.
I started missing this.
Oh look, it's the Hope Diamond. That's nice.
Where did I find these? What was it called? Palantir.
They've not all been accounted for.
Somewhere, some hobbyist has it on its table, buried beneath mountains of lead.
It's good. I'll see if it's spying on anyone then. See, safe. Safety.
Is your project not done yet? I still see you. I'm pretty sure that's the only logical explanation where those are all accounted for. Some hobbyists in Middle-earth have put them on their shelves. I will tend to that later when I have time. And
makes sense.
It's not the baddest fan fiction I've come up with, I think.
Well, compared to some of the earlier extraterrestrial-based fan fiction, then, you know, that one's quite good.
What extraterrestrial fan fiction?
Remember that bit where you were telling us that E.T. was a sexual predator? You just went off on one and I was going, Tim, no, seriously, calm down. And then you were explaining how at the end of his rod glows, doing phone sex lines and going, well, nobody wants to hear this, la 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 la. And then you shouted me down and muted me and continued. I was just, I mean, everybody will be able to tell you in the chat that's exactly what happened.
And this is exactly why I'm not rewatching this show when it's on YouTube. I just let it roll.
Yeah, just put it up there and wait to see. So it's when you don't get a takedown notice for this video next week. It'll just be a fucking Steven Spielberg's lawyers will contact
Steven
you.
Spielberg knocking on my door. What were you thinking? Oh no. Yeah. This is always fun. Jerry imagined as Saruman. if you want.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Could be worse.
Could be. Not sure how.
Well, this bird pooped. What's this called? Radagast.
All right.
That would be worse.
His second best role. Good old Sylvester McCoy.
What was his best?
He was in a terrible, terrible film, and I mean terrible, called El Dorado. And it was made by one of these producers who ended up being banged up for fraud, where he essentially was making films
to burn money.
To burn money. It was David Carradine's last film, where he played the narrator, who would occasionally appear. But you just start going down the list of all these people in this film. It essentially is like a shit Blues Brothers remake, except not by the. You've got these two Blues Brothers great actors, who, or impressionists, I suppose they'd be, called the Jews Brothers.
It's not like they're even trying.
You can see where this is going already. Their manager is played by Steve Guttenberg from the Police Academy movies. I think it's the first time he'd acted in anything since. He's practically nearsighted with big, thick, cooler bottle lenses. So he sends them to a gig without realizing it's like a neo-Nazi establishment. Sylvester McCoy plays the leader, who looks like a shit Hitler, who keeps hitting himself in the face whenever he goes to do Sig Heil, because that's how stupid he is.
So they're ripping off Terry Pratchett's Trolls.
Oh, it's everything about it is the worst thing. But you're going down the list of actors in it, and you're going like,
is this
Steve
the one
Guttenberg, Sylvester
you're
McCoy,
referring to? El Rado in 3D.
It might be that. That's it. There you go.
Murder Mayhem Music.
Oh,
Oh,
none of
God.
that. None of that is true. It is appalling. Everybody needs to watch it at some point. It is just so
Country
terrible.
of origin, United Kingdom.
He
Well.
was, yeah. But then you're looking at, you're going, Michael Madsen's in it. And,
Wait,
you know,
this is from
all
2012, and
yeah.
there is what did you say? Brigitte Nielsen,
It's just terrible.
Peter O'Toole.
Oh, poor Peter.
Oh God.
I mean, these are all genuinely famous actors, washed up. It has to be said by the time this came along. But yeah, Daryl Hannah
Oh God.
is in it as well. And I mean, and a lot of these people appeared in this piece of trash just before they appeared in things like Kill Bill. So Daryl Hannah and Michael Madsen and David Carradine were all in this, and then in Kill Bill. Going, what sort of a career trajectory have you got here?
Oh God.
This- Oh, once I heard about it, it was like, I need to see this film. And once I'd seen it, I went, I wish I'd never heard of this film.
So this is a movie you wish to see for your worst enemies, yes?
Oh, yeah. Oh, very much so.
Oh, I'm not going near this.
No, you shouldn't. It's just fucking terrible.
If there would be any indication on why you should not watch this movie, it's El Dorado in 3D.
Well, yeah. I'd never seen it in 3D. Maybe that's what was missing. Maybe if I'd seen the 3D version, I'd appreciate it for the cinematic masterpiece it is.
I tried watching a 3D movie once. It was Mad Max. It was a pain. Getting these 3D glasses over the normal glasses was the least worst part of it, but that movie made me sick.
I generally avoid them because same sort of thing. Wearing them over glasses is always terrible. But when we went to see Solo, a Star Wars story, we could only get into the midnight showing in a 3D one because we'd left it too late. We'd gone for a few drinks beforehand. One of my friends became so motion sick, he left the cinema after about 15 minutes and spent the entire movie throwing up in the toilet. He couldn't physically come back in. So it's just affected him so badly. I'm going, well, you know, in many respects, you won that time, Nigel, because you didn't watch fucking Solo, a story about how he got his stuff.
Yeah, the story isn't great. The movie itself isn't too bad.
It's not a terrible film,
but
it's just...
It would have been the same level of quality if it wasn't called Solo and somehow forced into the universe.
Yeah, if it had just been a sci-fi thing, yeah, they wouldn't have to try and shoe in how many. Yeah, it's not even how he got his stuff; it's how he got everything. Where did he get his name from?
Oh, that's the worst part of the whole movie. Oh, this is so bad.
Where'd you get your gun from?
I was so happy that I watched that movie on DVD when that scene came along, and Solo. God, I swear my toenails flipped. It's cringeworthy as fuck.
Oh, it's just... Yeah. I would have been more interested to see what the original directors were doing. The original directors who got scared off by Disney or pushed off because Disney were going, oh no. Because they hired them because they do a lot of improvisation on their sets and stuff. And clearly that's why they hired these actors to do that. And then they went, oh, this isn't what we want in our Solo story. So quickly fetch Ron Howard, who is bland, and he'll bring his ugly brother Clint with him. And he fucking did. It's the only reason Clint gets any work. Poor ugly Clint Howard.
Yes.
Gentle Ben be damned.
Speaking of terrible spin-offs, have you heard or seen Star Trek Lower Deck?
No.
It's an animated series in the Star Trek universe describing the adventures of a crew that's part of a spaceship, but it's not the bitch crew you usually follow, but the low scrub somewhere in the rear end. It's so bad. The trailer alone just makes you turn off the TV immediately.
It's not the first time something's been done like that.
It's like the Orville, but bad. And animated.
Although, I'm trying to think, any time it's done, it's normally done as like a one-off.
Yeah, that's the one. Star Trek Lower Decks. I don't think you want to see that. It's bad.
Have to keep up with their duties and keep their social lives. Wah, wah.
It's so over the top. It starts with the usual captain's log, blah blah, and then the closet opens and Ensign 1 catches Ensign 2 improvising a captain's log and making fun of him, and it's so bad.
Yeah, so it's Red Dwarf, but without being good. When you're saying, was he named after his dog, and you're going hyperdrive Dutch, is that a reference to the dog that was a clue to open one of the chests in Knights of the Old Republic on Taris? Because they had a dog and it was called Hyperdrive. It's given to her by her uncle on Alderaan.
Who names the dog Hyperdrive?
The uncle from Alderaan did. But you had to read their little journal, and then that allowed you to deactivate the thing to get the Republic armor mod.
Oh, it's so far in the past.
Because otherwise, yeah, I think Chewie was Lucas's. No, yes, Chewie was Lucas's dog. Indiana Jones was named after a dog in the third one.
The dog was named Indiana.
Indiana, yeah.
And R2-D2 and C-3PO were on some pillars in Indiana Jones at some point.
They were. That's true.
So
amongst the hieroglyphs.
They're not scared of cross-referencing for whatever reason.
Well, Vader's got bits of the Ark of the Covenant on him, so, you know, go him.
Well, that's true.
It's a TV show, Hyperdrive. Oh, I've never heard of that.
Yeah. But speaking of ending a show, it's 22:22. That sounds like a reasonable time. We're
sounds like a song.
Just like a small bit over the half hour we have aimed for.
A little bit, yeah. We'll do better next week.
We don't need, because I'm still on holiday, and technically I have time to sleep tomorrow. Technically.
When are you doing your thing that's not this Wednesday but next Wednesday for Star Wars, for FFG, when they tell us about how their drug laundering money is going to go again?
I think that was on Thursday, was not?
I don't know.
I shall look it up now, if I can find it.
I don't pay attention. I thought it was 27th, but who knows? 23rd would make sense. Yeah.
I think it was Thursday. But I sure shall. No, not this one. Not this
It would be easier to just...
Gen Con Online.
Oh. Yep. Oh.
29th.
29th. I was close. So it is next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. It's the night from Wednesday to Thursday. Yes. That's will be. So this will basically be after Warren's music next Wednesday. Technically speaking. Speaking of, Warren said he would be doing music tomorrow, even if he's in staycation.
No, he's finished his staycation.
Didn't he say he wanted to do 2 weeks?
He's done 2 weeks
already.
Yeah.
Oh God, time flies.
It's a Fugit and Terrier, Tempest irreparable Fugit.
Well, we shall see. So, for everybody who has been here, thank you for being here. Jerry, thank you again for putting all the work in selecting the projects. Thank you, dear Beer, for making things possible, like E.T. in various positions he never thought he would be. And if this one gets copyright stricken, we will make an even better one next week. Thanks again, everybody. We will see you.
Bye.